There are moments when you stand between what is past and what is yet to come. A quiet pause where clarity eludes you. And yet, everything around you is shifting in ways you couldn't have predicted. You strive to hold on to what you know, but life slips away like water through your fingers. Plans dissolve. People fade. Doors that once opened effortlessly now seem sealed. Beneath the confusion, a gentle voice whispers, "Why is this happening now? What if this isn't falling apart, but is instead falling into place? What if the turmoil isn't a punishment, but a passage?" There is a deeper current flowing through your life, one that doesn't rely on logic, but on alignment with a higher purpose. The universe doesn't exist to grant your comfort. It exists to catalyze your transformation. And sometimes, the only way to awaken you is to undo all that no longer serves you. You feel the change. The old version of yourself is fading away. The patterns, the attachments, the identities you once held, they no longer fit. This isn't the end, but a turning point. You are not being abandoned. You are being called, rearranged, prepared. Once you understand why this is happening, you will cease resisting and begin remembering that you were never meant to stay the same. What seems like disorientation is often the hand of divine design. The confusion you face is not a mistake. It is a construction zone. The universe is rebuilding something sacred within you, and such processes are rarely neat and tidy. You've stepped away from the old, but the new hasn't yet fully emerged. This is not a void to fear. It is a womb. You are not lost. You are in the process of becoming. Every disruption you're facing is part of a greater harmony you cannot yet see. Life will never remain in the form you once knew. It was never meant to. The soul is vast, boundless, too eternal to remain confined within past structures. So when something falls apart or unravels unexpectedly, it doesn't necessarily mean something went wrong. Sometimes it means something deeper is going right. A new season is calling, and the universe is rearranging everything that no longer matches the frequency of where you are headed. What once worked will begin to falter. What once felt safe will feel burdensome. This is not failure. This is alignment. You asked for peace but clung to chaos. You sought clarity but resisted the purification. You desired a higher path, and now the universe is removing everything that could obstruct it. You were never ignored. Your desires were heard too deeply to leave the surface unchanged. Just as a potter must first break the hardened clay to reshape it, your life too must be softened, stirred, and restructured, not out of malice, but from extraordinary place of care. There is an intelligence at work in the unseen world, a pattern woven into the pauses, the setbacks, and the endings. When something exits your life abruptly, it may not be punishment but prevention. When a door slams shut, it might not be rejection but redirection. The universe knows when something has fulfilled its purpose. Instead of allowing you to stay in a place where your spirit cannot grow, it moves the ground beneath you, guiding you forward. It does not wait for your comfort. It waits for your readiness. This is why the rearrangement feels so intense. It penetrates deep to the roots. It is not content with surface-level change. It dismantles the very foundation upon which your identity was built to allow a truer, more aligned version of you to emerge. And this is why you are here, feeling the shift. You are not being abandoned within the confusion. You are being refined by it. This isn't destruction. This is divine precision. The universe is not removing things to deprive you, but to position you for what you truly seek. Every part of your life that feels like it's breaking is, in fact, falling into place. When the universe begins to reorganize your life, one of the first things it asks of you is let go. Not because what you're holding is inherently bad, but because it is no longer in harmony with who you are becoming. The rearrangement isn't merely about changing your outer circumstances. It's about dissolving your inner attachments. You cannot step into a new reality while still carrying the weight of the past. Detachment is not a loss. It is a sacred untying. It is a deliberate release of what once served you, but now quietly holds you back. The pain you feel in this rearrangement often stems from resisting the release. We attach meaning to people, roles, and plans, thinking they define who we are. When these things change or disappear, it can feel as though we are losing parts of ourselves. But what if it isn't you that is being lost? What if it is merely the layer that no longer serves your higher purpose? The universe rearranges your life, not to strip away your worth, but to reveal the deeper essence that lies beneath the surface. Detachment is the universe's way of making space for alignment, growth, and the next phase of your soul's unfolding. Imagine trying to climb higher while still gripping tightly to the ledge beneath. That grip, your fear of letting go, becomes the very thing that keeps you from rising. The universe knows when something has outgrown you, and in its wisdom, it starts to shake loose the structures you mistakenly thought were safety. This is where the rearrangement may feel chaotic. Things may fall away faster than your mind can comprehend, but the truth is, you are not being emptied to suffer. You are being emptied to receive. Letting go is not an act of weakness. It is the gateway to transformation. Detachment is not about becoming indifferent or cold. It is about trusting that what is meant for you cannot be lost, and that the space left by what departs is not a wound, but an invitation. The universe is not asking you to detach to punish you. It is doing so to align you with your truth, your future, and the version of yourself that awaits on the other side of surrender. When you stop clinging to what is leaving, you open your hands to what is arriving. That's the secret. This is why this rearrangement is sacred. The moments when life stops making sense often coincide with the moments when you are closest to realignment. The rearrangement doesn't announce itself with clarity. It enters quietly, shifting the ground beneath your plans, pulling your steps in unfamiliar directions. Yet, there is order in the mystery. The universe does not require you to understand the entire map. It only asks you to keep moving forward. You are not lost. You are being guided by coordinates that you cannot yet see with your eyes, but you can feel them stirring within your spirit. When the path becomes uncertain, the mind often panics. It demands proof. It seeks outcomes. But the soul speaks a language of trust, presence, and patience. The universe rarely provides detailed explanations. Instead, it offers signs, synchronicities, and a quiet inner pull that invites you to believe before you see. This is the faith required for realignment, not blind optimism, but a deep recognition that something far greater than your logic is at work. Your life is not a series of random events, but an unfolding, carefully guided by infinite intelligence. Just as stars aren't visible during the day, the clearest guidance often appears in the darkness. And this is where many falter, mistaking the silence for absence and the waiting for abandonment. But the stillness is not an absence. It is sacred preparation. The universe is not ignoring you. It is aligning the pieces, calibrating the timing, and strengthening your spirit. So when the opening comes, you will be ready to step through. The pause is not a punishment. It is divine precision. You weren't meant to see every turn ahead. Such control would limit you. If every answer were given in advance, there would be no room for discovery, for growth, or for trust. The universe rearranges your life not to confuse you, but to invite you into a greater intimacy with its flow. When you stop demanding guarantees and start attuning yourself to the energy, the patterns, and the subtle shifts in your heart, you begin to navigate by inner wisdom. This is the unseen map, not made of lines and labels, but of resonance and trust. So if you find yourself disoriented, if the old paths have crumbled and no clear direction has emerged in their place, Don't rush to rebuild what's familiar. Sit in the unknown. Listen closely. The rearrangement is not yet complete, and clarity will come, not all at once, but exactly when you need it. Trust that you are not walking alone. Every step, even the uncertain ones, is moving you toward what you were always meant to become. When the universe begins to rearrange your life, it isn't just shifting your circumstances, it's reshaping you. Not the version you show the world, but the version you were always meant to embody. The rearrangement extracts everything that is out of alignment with this deeper identity. Habits, relationships, and even thoughts that no longer reflect your highest truth begin to dissolve. And though it may feel like things are being taken from you, in reality, they are being refined. The universe is not trying to destroy your life. It is trying to align it. Alignment isn't perfection. It's honesty. And honesty requires the courage to release the roles you've outgrown, the stories you've told yourself, and the masks you once wore to fit in. As the rearrangement deepens, these things start to fall away, not to harm you, but to reveal the real you beneath. The moment you stop trying to fix what's fading and start allowing the new to emerge, you enter alignment. And alignment doesn't force, it flows. You will begin to notice a shift in how you respond to life. The triggers that once pulled you under no longer hold the same power. The fears that used to dictate your choices lose their grip. Why? Because the self you are becoming no longer speaks the language of scarcity. It doesn't chase after things, it attracts. It doesn't beg, it believes. And this version of you, the aligned self, is exactly who the rearrangement has always been guiding you toward. The shedding was never punishment, it was sacred preparation. In this space, you no longer need to force open doors. You become the energy that attracts the right ones to you. The more you live in alignment with this truth, the more your life begins to reflect it. The chaos quiets, not because the world changes overnight, but because you do. And this is the deepest reason the universe is rearranging your life. Not just so you can have more, but so you can be more present, more real, more whole, aligned not only with your path, but with the divine power that walks with you along it. There comes a moment in every rearrangement when resistance no longer serves you. You've asked for clarity, healing, and expansion, and now the universe is answering, but not in the way your mind expected. It doesn't always come wrapped in comfort. Sometimes it arrives as endings, silence, or unfamiliar paths. But within all of this, there is an invitation, a quiet, undeniable call to surrender fully. Not just a casual yes, but a sacred yes, a deep, full-body surrender to the unfolding that has already begun. The sacred yes isn't loud. It doesn't require grand gestures. It happens in the stillness, the moment you decide to stop running from the unknown and start trusting what is pulling you forward. You don't need all the answers. You only need the courage to respond. When you align your yes with what the universe is orchestrating, you step out of confusion and into co-creation. You're no longer being dragged by life, you're dancing with the rhythm of your own becoming. This is the turning point in the rearrangement. The moment you shift from fearing what is being taken away to recognizing what is being offered, you begin to see that every closed door protected you, every delay prepared you, and every detour redirected you to something more aligned with your soul's path. But none of this becomes clear until you agree to participate. Until your yes becomes louder than your fear. That is when the energy begins to move differently. That is when the path starts to unfold beneath your feet. Saying yes does not mean the journey will be free from discomfort. Growth always demands something of you. But the sacred yes gives permission for that growth. It declares to the universe, I trust you. I trust that this rearrangement is not here to break me, but to build something within me that could not exist otherwise. And that trust opens a portal, a space where new beginnings emerge, peace returns and guidance becomes unmistakably clear. Not because the outer world has changed, but because you have met change with readiness. So if you feel the pressure rising, the walls closing in, the pieces of your life shifting in ways beyond your control, pause. Listen. You're being asked to say yes to a life you have not yet lived, to a version of yourself you've only just begun to meet. The rearrangement is not happening to pull you under. It's happening to pull you through. And on the other side of your sacred yes is everything you have been preparing for, even if you did not know it. This is why the universe is rearranging your life right now. Not to harm you, but to reveal you. To guide you into the truth buried beneath expectation, fear, and routine. It is answering your prayers in a language your soul understands, through release, redirection, and resurrection. The discomfort you feel is not a sign to quit. It is an invitation to rise. Now let go. Trust deeper. Walk forward. Not because you know exactly where the road leads, but because you are finally remembering who you truly are. You were never meant to remain unchanged. And now the rearrangement begins.